Jake!
Hey Jake, I'm Ed. Okay, hang in there, little guy. Cavalry's on the way. I've got a crowbar in my car. I'll be right back, okay?
It's okay, Jake. The nice man's gonna get us out of here.
Hey guys, what's going on? Anthony Gray of Grayscale Painting. This is going to be my little birthday painting, even though I'm filming it a couple days ahead of time. I'm going by somewhat of a photo reference when it comes to the actual picture itself. Alright, the border and the figures are my idea. This is a 16 by 20 canvas. Alright, I'm going to approach, this is going to be Mount Kilimanjaro, as a matter of fact, Africa. Okay. Every once in a while, it is the highest peak in Africa. It's 20,000 feet, 19,000 feet, something like that. And usually at a certain time of day, it's covered. Most of it is covered by clouds, and that's what you see here. So I sketched it out a little bit more or less than usual. Some of the clouds itself got a little bit of blue and purple in it in there. All right. More importantly, it's really the edges and such, but I'll show you my way of doing it and getting it, as close as possible. So we're gonna get this little party started here. I'm gonna get obviously some vegetable glycerin here. It just keeps the paint wet a little longer, and you're able to blend and all of that. Now I'm not going to cover the mountain, but I am going to go pretty much where the clouds are going to be represented. Okay, we're going to get right down to it here. I'm going to use a little bit of sky blue. Now this is my representation of it. All right, and you know, you can have little liberties with it. I pretty much know how far to take certain colors. There's going to be kind of a glow to this also. Now this light blue, I could just make it stronger. It's still going to be light blue. Go part way, don't go all the way with it. Okay. Just like so. Bring some of that in. If you go over the mountain a little bit, it's fine. Like I say, this is my representation of it. All right. Now I'm going to use a little touch of purple just to darken it up around in this area here. I'll probably use a little darker blue. Just like that. Yeah, I'll probably use a little bit of darker blue. It's fairly dark up there, but I don't need too much of it. This Prussian Blue is extremely powerful, strong. So once again, I don't need a lot, just a little dot of blue. And put it right up there in the corner. We'll darken that up a little bit. And we'll kind of brush and fade the rest of that. Put something like that. All right. We're gonna go up on the other side here, right up in the corner. We got a little bit of love up in here. And it is a little darker, so I'll pop some of that dark blue in there. I just need it in a certain area, more or less, and that's about it. All right, now I'm gonna take some titanium white. I mixed it in with a blue, just like that. And we're gonna get a nice little line of color red in there, just like that, more or less. In there. Now I'm gonna take some white and lighten all that up a little bit, just like that. All I need really is a thin line. Then I'm gonna take the rest and I'll just kind of brush that thin line there, just like so. All right, and we just need that thin line going across. And you don't really have to worry about much after that. I'm gonna take a little dot of titanium white. I'm gonna go down below here. I'm gonna mix that titanium white down here on the bottom, just to brighten it up right there. You got a little bit of a glow happening here, just a small bit, just like that. Like I said, we'll blend all of that in, so don't worry about that. All right, here on the other side, we got this yellowish white glow that's going on there. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of sienna, pop some of that sienna in here to gray it up a little bit. Just a little bit, just do it in little increments. It's fairly grayed out up here, so a little bit of sienna will aid in that. Now, if it's a little too brown, it's all right. You can add some blue in that mix. And that's what I'm going to do, a little dark blue. Mix it right in there with that brown. Just to darken it up a bit. And we're going to add a little bit of brown in this blue area here. Once again, we're just going to gray it out a little bit. This is, like I said, this is like a sienna color. We'll gray that up a little bit, just a tad. There we go. Getting this little dark patch right in there. We'll use some of that in here, just to darken it up a little. Okay, you're gonna need that dark. You'll see in a second. I'm gonna use a small and a soft brush. We're gonna just kind of guide some of that darkness there. And I'll just kind of wisp it along in little cloudy patterns there. On the tail end there. And we're gonna do a little bit of that here too. Just wisp it. I'll softly blend, real soft. Circular movements. Don't want to get rid of the wispiness, so we'll bring some of that back. Okay, and the same thing here, kind of wisp it along. Just like that. Usually if I do the circle movements, it's just to kind of gently blend some things together. And we're going to put it practically down in here. I'm gonna go with this same color. I'm going into the mountain a little bit. It's mountains kind of got that same flavor on that side. Okay, and we're just gonna kind of have it do its thing. I'm gonna get it pretty close up there. Okay, I'm bringing it all out in here. All right, some of it's being waved around all in here, just like that. All right. It's only on a certain part of the sky that you get some of this glow going. All right, and I'm gonna kind of help it out here. Once again, wave it. Bring some of the other colors in there. It's all right. It'll be blended out. Okay. Same thing in here. Just kind of wave it around there. You kind of block it in a little. Kind of play around with it, scoop it around like this. And don't worry about either over blending. You can do your X strokes to smooth all that out. So you can kill a lot of streaks that way. All right. Just like that. Don't worry about this in here because it's gonna be covered with a darker color, but you need that shade there. All right. Now we'll get into some actual cloud play in here. All right. I'm going to use probably a soft fan brush for this. Get some more white. We're gonna kind of flavor some of that darkness with some clouds, just to shape it up a little bit, and we'll kind of touch some of that up in here. And what we're gonna do is just get a little wave actions in there like this, just like that. You see that? And we'll keep playing with that intensity of the white. Pop in a few here, and as long as it's a little bit brighter. Okay, and once again, we're gonna wisp and wave some patterns in there, like that really cloud-like things happening in there, like that. Okay, and get some up in there. A lot of back and forth wave actions. Make it look like clouds really high in the sky. All right, and you got some movement happening, going around in there. And we're gonna do a little bit of that up in here. Very gentle, wave it in there. Sometimes you only got a few streaks to get away with it before you start getting lines and stuff, so. Be sure where you want to put them and just put them in there. Okay. You can always soften them up. Okay. Always soften them up. This is a very soft brush, so you can probably hear what I'm doing. But it's a really soft brush. Once again, just getting some interesting cloud patterns happening. I'm gonna go into a little bit of blue, touch of that brown, grade up a little bit. Now the sienna's got red in it. All right. I'm gonna do the same thing up around in here. We're gonna wave in some. Same premise, but you're just waving in some dark cloud patterns in there. Once again, you're doing that wave thing. Just you soften it out a little bit, bring them out. You do it as much as you feel you need to tell your story. You see my head in here because of the glare of the glycerin. Keep in mind, glycerin expands when it dries. All right. Once again, keep all that in mind. Glycerin does expand when it dries. Okay. As I'm looking at certain things here, I'm gonna take a little touch of white. Okay. And just come out here and because I really want to accentuate the brightness of this area in here. And that's all I'm doing really, is just bringing out that brightness up in there. All right. Going back into my little bit of white, a little touch of yellow. Sometimes you only got a couple swipes to do with these to make them a little more convincing. Just like that. Just wave it in there. And you're just keeping with the pattern of the cloud work. Okay. Really just getting it to really be a little more alive in there. All right. Okay, as I'm checking things out, add a little bit of orange brightness right up around in here. Just kind of streak it out there like that. And pop another one in there like that. You can always soften it up a little bit. It's just bringing some of those clouds over there into the dark part, just a little bit, not too much. You kind of add a little brightness in there. Once again, it's the strokes, the directional strokes that are helping you out, giving you that nice wild look to it. Don't worry about that. Okay, we're really concentrating mainly on the sky here. Just like that. Nice little mixture of things happening in there. And you can once again just soften it in spots. This is how you achieve those looks. Okay. All right. Enough playing around with that. Once again, I'm using sienna with purple and white. Okay. It grays it out a little bit. All right. And we're going to come all up in here. Just like this. Yep. Just like that. Nice. We're going to block all of that in. Now you figure I would do the mountain first. Go right across the figures, just like that. Come on down. Now as you come down to where you see that blue band there. And you bring it right on down. Don't worry, we'll get it straightened out. But drag some of that color. Drag some of that color down here. You see that band of blue? Put it right in there. Just like that. Put it right in. All right? Okay. That band of blue is only a thin band, so you're all right. We're going to smooth all of that out. And then we're going to build upon that. Smooth it right out, just like that. Left and right. Left to right. Smooth it out. Just like that. Okay. We're going to get a little bit of white. I'll put it on the corner of the brush. And we'll start building little, you pat it a little bit, little shapes in there like this. And we're going to keep going with that. Just tap them in there in various points. It's going to look like little rolling clouds in there. All right. Bring it right down by that blue band there. Now it doesn't look like it's making much sense. Now remember, the glycerin is going to keep this paint wet for a minute. All right, so we're going to continue with these bands. Go right in between, right as close as you can to that blue streak in there. We're going to smooth all of that out, and you'll see in a little bit. You're just doing a representation right now of what's going on. Take the same brush and lightly, just lightly. Pop it in there. Just like that. We're going to go in with a little bit of blue. I'm putting the blue into that mix. And pretty much the same thing. Just like that. Use the side of the brush with tap and play a little bit. This blue is extremely powerful, so you don't need too much of that. Okay? Excuse me if my head's in a way that blurred it out. That's my bad. I'm sorry. Put it right in there. Put that band right in there. We're going to get it a little sharper toward the bottom. Now, here on the bottom, sharpen that. Just like this. Bring some up in here like that. Nice little cloud-like shape there in the bottom. Just like that. All right. Keep the bottom edge, okay? But you're gonna fluff out the lines on the inside. Now, depending on what size brush you have and what kind of technique you're looking for to do it, up to you. I'll use this soft brush here. And we're just gonna, on the top here, we're just gonna kinda, I don't wanna go directly to the bottom, but we're gonna fade out all of this up here. Just kind of fade it a little bit. Try to keep that edge. Keep the edge, but we're gonna fade out that little bit of straggle up there. And you'll see, because there's a second layer. So you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, why I'm doing what I'm doing here. Let's soften that out a little. All right. We're going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to use the larger brush. We're going to go back into our little dark mix. We're going to mix a little purple, a little sienna, a little bit of blue, purple sienna, a little bit of blue there. All right, get a little more purple, a little sienna. We're going to gray that out a little. Okay. Now what we did here, we're going to do the same exact thing right up in here. It's a little band up in here. Don't worry about, see that little band there? Okay. And we're going to kind of, some of it go up here, some of it comes back down here. It's like that. That little band. Just like that. All right. And once again, with a soft brush, smaller brush, keep the top the way it is. I think this one here might be a little, but we're gonna fade that bottom down a little bit there. That bottom, we can kind of get rid of that right down here. Bringing all of that downward, all down, drag it down, all that drag downward. But that's not, we want the edge. We don't necessarily need all that inside. Just like so. We're gonna soften some of that so it won't look that rough. And we will, you'll see what I'll do here. Okay, just like that. We're just gonna soften all of that. Take the brush, soft brush, and you go back and forth. You just soften that edge, soften it. You still got your white in the center. It's not the white you're concerned about. You're softening that edge down at the bottom. And you keep it going back and forth just to soften that. All right, watch what I'm gonna do. And we're just gonna kind of tap in a nice little blue glow in there. Just like that. Because we're going to make some of that disappear. But it'll be like a little glow in there. So I'm just going to just tap that. It's the white mixed in with that little sky blue color in there like that. I'll take a brush and a nice circle. Just circle pattern, just circle it a little bit. Just to glow bring some of that out a little. Just a nice little glow. All right. Very lightly with your brush. Back and forth. Flatten that out a little bit. Okay. Let's get into some titanium white, some blue. A little bit of brown in there, gray that out. Now I'm using sienna for the brown to gray it out. And once again, we'll come down below, just like that. Put it right in there. And you're just building up little layers. And this glycerin will help you do that. All in here. We got a nice little thin band going on there. And you'll see in a second. Okay, let's we can probably darken that up. I'm gonna go up above here. Right up in here. Turn the brush around a little bit. Get some more of that color. All in here. Scumble all of that in there. Once again, we want that nice little band of brightness in there. Okay. Take my little brush and once again very lightly. Left and right, smooth it all out. Our clouds. Up here, do the same thing. Smooth all that out a little bit. Just like that. Doesn't look much like cloud work as of yet, but it will. All right. We're going to go into a little touch of white. We're going into this grayish color. I'm going to sneak a little purple in there. And a little bit of that light blue. Get some more titanium white with the soft brush. All right. And we'll just kind of especially toward the top there. As you can see, I'm not really doing all of it. Just up toward the top a little bit. And we're going to blend all of that, scumble all of it in there, like that. I'm going to get a larger mop brush. And just kind of tap some of that softness in there a little bit. It just softens all of this, especially around in the edges there. You're going to need some of that little texture. We're going to smooth all of this out, so keep in mind a lot of this will be smoothed out. Just like that. All right. I can even take this brush and we'll soften all of that. Very soft. Now some of this glycerin is starting to get a little tacky, which is good. I don't want to blur it all out, but we're just gonna make it a little softer in there. Like that. We're gonna take some of that same color. And we're gonna go up above and we're gonna kinda let's get a little more white there. And we're gonna play around in here a little bit. Come on down here a little. Down, get some more, pop them in there. I'm going to take a sliver of white and blue together by themselves, the sky color, a little bit of sky color and titanium white. And then we're just gonna, now we're gonna tap. Play with it a little bit. Get some more of the color. And get now we're going to form that brightness in between the clouds there. You'd be surprised how much white you would need to kind of make it stick out there. Some of it's a little thinner, some of it's a little thicker, it's all right. And we can smooth all of that white disappears, just coloring that white is going to match, well, the sky in the background. Okay. And once again, we're going to soften all of that. I can use this very same brush and we'll just lightly, on top and bottom, we're just going to, see, I don't want to make it disappear, but we're just going to soften that. A little left and right there. Just like that. Bring it out there a little bit. Soften it. Okay. Now you got a little bit of that color up there, you see now? Okay. All right, we're going to take a little bit of purple, a little touch of blue, a little purple blue there. And we're going to get like a little line of, just like this. Almost like a little line of color there. And we're going to fade some of that bottom out a little, really fade that bottom out a little bit. Really a nice stronger fade on the bottom. We just want a nice little line there of that color. We'll kind of pop in some of that up around in here a little bit. Right in here. A lot of blending, a lot of blending. Getting the, there we go. Okay. See, nice little cloud look you got there. Half inch, this guy right here. We can do with him. All right. Okay. Let's work on the mountain. The mountain, I'm going to use sienna, but I'm going to use a lot of titanium white with it. So it's going to appear to be far away and a little bleached out. Okay. And we're going to still maintain that that orangey color in there. So we're just going to flesh out Mr. Mountain here right now. Just flesh him out. He'll mix in with this orangey color. Right now we're going to flesh the mountain out. Okay, just like that. Drag some of that color down. We're not going to add any water, any medium, just the paint itself right now. We're just going to, once again, just flesh out the mountain. Get some sienna, get some, a little bit of white. Flesh him right out. Don't worry, that this black line will disappear. Flesh him right out. The mountain isn't really that big of a deal to do once you flesh it out, because then the rest of it is really light and shade. Okay, and how you wanna fix that, how you wanna blend that. I don't have to make it perfectly smooth or anything. Okay. Like I say, that black mark will disappear as we move on with this. All right. Okay. Let's get a little bit of purple Let's get a little bit of orange. Two color opposites. We're gonna cancel each other out. It's gonna make it kind of brownish. Purple and brown are opposites on the color wheel. Just, you didn't know that. All right. And let's go here. And like I said, that black will disappear. We're gonna work with the dark side of the mountain here. All right. Now I'm gonna keep working with it. Keep on working with it. I'll kind of bring it here. Make it nice and solid there. Keep working with it. It's all right. This is how you build this guy up. Bring it right down there. All right. And we're gonna, up top here, there's nothing gentle. It's pretty, pretty dark, pretty solid up there. You kind of need it to be, you need that contrast. All right. And we'll kind of keep it all around in there, but we're gonna rub that all out there like this. Dry out my brush, and we're gonna work this that color into that lighter area. Just keep working at it. Drag it down. Drag it down. Drag it right down. There's not any glycerin on this mountain. Maybe some residual from when I did the sky, and that's about all. And you see I'm smoothing out things here. Okay. And then I'll just take the old flat brush. Smooth it out. Don't necessarily have to be perfectly smooth because we got details to do on this guy. But you get a lot of the streak marks up, much like that. Okay. All right. Let us commence with a little play here. Let's take, I'm gonna take a very small brush. We're gonna go into this darker color. I'm gonna take a little bit of blue, mix it in with this brownie color I got here. Now I got the blue mixed in. Now I'm gonna take a little bit of purple in that blue and a little bit of orange, and we're gonna really deepen it. Remember, the blue, the purple and the orange are canceling each other out. We got this blue in there. All right, the Prussian blue, very dark blue. Okay, it looks a little strange, but wait till it wait till it dries out. All right, here we go. I'm gonna take this kind of orangey color, and we're just gonna kind of just touch, little taps of brightness there. Just touch it. You want to maintain some of that bright so it kind of sticks out, even though it's way out here somewhere. But kind of, and you keep with the shape, the line shape of the mountain itself. And it's just orange and white. It's the only color I'm using right now. Go in between some of that dark there And I'm just kind of tapping it along there. It's pretty bright over here. Don't bury that dark. But it's brighter here. You kind of need that. And then I'll just kind of color some of that in. I'm not necessarily getting rid of all of that dark brown, but I'm just using that same color just to kind of keep it in the family there. You're not making that darkness disappear, but you're just kind of getting it a little on the orange side there. All right. I'm going to use a little bit of orange here. Now I'm packing on a little bit of orange right on my brush. I might even use a little bit of yellow. So I'll go yellow orange. I'm going to flatten out the brush. So I'll use a bit of yellow orange. Some direct light hitting on there. Very odd coloration for a mountain. Just like so. And yeah, it's pretty much almost abrupt, just like this. It's very odd. But it does have a similar look, just the way you're looking at it right now. Okay. I'm gonna take some a little bit of white, just a little bit, and probably a little touch of blue, but mostly white. Okay, and we're gonna offer a little bit more love in here. You just kind of very lightly on the edges, but we're gonna just brighten up some things in here a little bit more. A bit touch brighter in some spots, but let's get it more towards that color that you see in the mid right corner. Okay. So we're just touching it up a little bit. Come up here a little. It's like that. Just a little bit. See, now you're getting like a little nitpicky. You're picking and choosing your little spots. This is not true white. It's being contaminated by the color down below that you previously put on. Okay. I'm sorry that it fades out on you when I put my big head up there. Kind of throw in a little bit of the sky color, just a little bit. There's a reason for it. Not too much. We're going to just tease it a little bit. Not too much. Come on around in here. We're just teasing some sky down below. Just like that. You don't want it to be super noticeable. Just a little bit here and there. Oh, just a little. I'll wipe some off my brush because I'm fading it into that purple. I'll scratch it into that purple there. You just want to hint to it. And that's all, really. A little hint. Now that might be a little too scratchy, all right? So we'll mellow that out a little bit. All right. Just like that. All right. Okay. I'm checking things out here. We got another little something to do. All right, let's go with our titanium white. A little touch of yellow in the titanium white, just a touch. All right. We'll go up here. And we're just gonna add some exaggerated silver linings all up in here like this. It has to be pretty strong, all right, to do what I'm doing. Fairly strong color. And I'm gonna take it, if I can get my head out of the way, it blurs it, I know. And I wanna soften. I'll just use my finger, you guys will be able to see it better. Going back into my yellow and titanium white again. Contaminate the white with a little bit of yellow. And we're gonna add some love, just like this. Need a little more white. And we're adding some, once again, tap some silver linings in there. And I'll kind of soften the bottom edge. The bottom edge I want a little softer. I'm gonna come down here to the sides. It's more of the top edge that you want it. Down here down below, you kind of fade that out. If you have to get it even lighter than that, just do all of it first, then you work on expanding the lightness. Because I can see where I'm at here. It has to be a little bit brighter, and that's okay. And we can easily get that by just adding nothing but pure titanium white, but that would be just on the top. And I'll show you. I'll show you with a liner brush. So I'm gonna get a liner brush, get some water. It's a thin brush, nothing but pure titanium white. Be as close to it as you can. We'll come here first, and we're gonna add that bright kind of line up in there. Now, this is fairly, you're messing around in yellow now, so the yellow and white, they're gonna kind of have a little wrestling match with each other. But up in here, you can kind of see, get that little, see that? Some of it thick, some of it thin, but it's just little bits of the shine from the sunlight behind the mountain there. Just like that. Okay. Okay, I think we're doing pretty good here. All right. I'm looking at it here. Pure titanium white, no water, no nothing, just pure paint. Just be careful, because it is really bright. And I'm just gonna, once again, we're highlighting. The tops of the clouds. Just, here and there. I know you might find it kind of unbelievable that they would look this way, but I am going by a photograph. And it does look this way. few things I'm doing shading wise or highlight wise. I'm making a few things of my own, but generally, if you look at it next to the original picture, you would pretty much think it's, the same thing. All right. So you can still make a painting your own, even if you are looking at a photograph. You really can. All right. Okay, on the bottom, fairly much the same thing. Usually where you see the highlights, you're gonna get a little bit of that, some of that shine in there like that. Pretty much where you see the, a lot of the highlights there. You kind of play around with it there like this. Kind of blur some of that out a little bit. Your finger will naturally soften some of those. The silver linings aren't as strong here, but they are there. See, stuff like that. Okay, stuff like that. Pop a little bit of that brightness in here, and just use your finger and kind of soften some of that glow there. Some of it's pretty hardy, some of it really sticks out, some of it is kind of subdued. And we'll put a little bit of shine by her head, by her forehead there, like that, and then we'll kind of like that. But see, now it's starting to look like little clouds. You still got your sky in there. A nice little line. All right. Okay. I think we're good. We'll move on to the light green. Yes, we have some light green going on. I'll use some of this. We'll just use a little bit of phthalo. Okay. All right, we'll use some phthalo. I'll just use this brush. We're going to use a little bit of phthalo green. Bring the phthalo down a little bit here. And I'm going to use a little sienna. I will deepen that phthalo. I'm going to get a little touch of water to thin that phthalo out. Because right now we're just bulking, or we're just kind of filling out. And we're just going to tap in some far away tree things. Just see this stuff. Far away. Far away. Some got stronger patches, some don't. But just kind of pop them in there like this. You got a grouping of some you don't, some are a little thinner, whatever. All right. So make it look like little faraway trees, little shrubbery things. Okay. This is like far background things going on out here. Make sure you put them up toward the top. You don't want things too even, all right? And it's just a little bit of paint and water. All right. Much like that. Remember, background stuff, okay? It's just background things. All right, like that. Okay, all right. I'm still looking at it, still checking it out. Okay, it gets really interesting now. because we got even darker foliage happening here. Okay, I'm gonna use a slightly, I can probably get away with this brush really, so let me just do it with this brush instead. Let's go back into our phthalo green. We're just deep in the phthalo green, it's no big deal. So I got another batch of phthalo. Okay. Hold on 1 second here. All right. I'm going into my phthalo green. I'll tap some of this out. I'm gonna tap out some of this purple in there. Yeah, this is cool. I might even dip in a little bit of go back into our purple here. Actually, I might want it slightly deeper than this, but we'll give it a shot first. All right, we have very thick foliage going on. Okay, as I'm glancing at the picture here, but we do have some thick foliage and some background trees. Okay, all right. So let's get the thick foliage happening first. Okay, it's a little bit down below, right in here, just like that. And we got some here, but you kind of see where the there we go. Oh yeah, this will actually do fine. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm also painting in approximately where the ending of the, I'll do it this way, because it slopes downward like that. That's the bottom of the batch of very dense foliage. And then we'll come up here just like this. And I'm right now just doing the outside edges. We got one coming way up here like this. And then it kind of comes on down like that. All right, now we go in between, all up in here. Very dense type of savanna-like deal happening there. Even with trees like this, you still want to make it a little area that maybe a little something can attempt to fly through all that dense happenings. Not down below, but more or less up top. But pretty much like that. All right. It is fairly dense foliage, but we're going to make it look like that in a second. Okay. All right. I think something like that is pretty good, pretty cool. Shades in there. It would be wise to maybe use a smaller brush, but we're going to do this lighter, general shades rounded. Some are rounded a little longer, some are rounded a little shorter. So we're going to come up around here, come down here a little bit. Don't kill off all that dark. You need that darker green. Remember, these fellows are still in the background back there. Then I'm going to come here, come over here, just pop in a few things like that. Just like that. You don't want it really too bright. It's still in the background out there. I'm using the same thick 1-inch brush here. I want to fade my mountain out a little bit more. It's still out there. Okay, so I'm gonna take a pretty decent, I'll take this brush to do. It's a very large filbert. I'm going to take some white, and I'm going to take a little bit of orange in that white, and a lot of water. Okay. Whole lot of water. Plenty of water. White has properties in it that is kind of chalky, residue-wise. Okay, this is the bravery test. I really want to bleach this out a little bit just to fade it back. All right, you got to kind of stay within the boundaries of your mountain when you do this. Now, I'm using water, so it will trying to find a word for it here. It will be transparent. I'll put it that way. And you want to really get rid of whatever lines you have. Now you have to, when you do this mix, when you blend like this, you add water to it, make sure you have enough, all right, so that it matches. Because if not, then you're going to run into some issues. So make sure you mix enough. Okay, once again, I just want to block. You just want to block it in. Now I have a brush here that's just wide enough for me to do it. And enough of the cloud on the bottom is dry enough for me to do what you see me doing. And then I can just brush right over. Okay. So I'm good as far as trying to get rid of streaks and whatnot. And once again, I'm just trying to pretty much bleach this mountain out a little bit, fade it out. Okay, get close to the edge as you can, just bleach it right out. And it will bleach out. You don't really need it on the lighter side, but it's all right. You just let it dry. All right, but now you got a mountain that's further away. The orange, which is related to the browns that we got, okay? And the white, so everything is in relation, but you see now it still puts the mountain even further back, okay? And since it's bleached, you don't have to really worry about detail on the other side because it's bleached out. All right. See how you can easily do those things. We need to get some branches, make some trees, really. Well, before we do that, let's put in some long grass. We'll do that. We'll use I'll use a hog's hair bristle for it. All right, we're gonna go into a little bit of blue. Touch of green in that blue, and we're gonna use some of the sienna up. Okay. Now this sienna has a whole bunch of red in it. You follow me? Here we go. Now that gives me more of an olive green. I don't really need it to be olive green. So I'm gonna have to bring in, because I need to brown it out a little bit. So we're gonna have to bring in a touch of red. And we're gonna brown this green out with this color. All right, this is a little more toward the color I'm looking for. Now this is nothing but pure paint, okay? And what I'm gonna do is just add long grass. Now I might speed the camera up on this because it might be a little tedious. I'm going up into the foliage here. Different widths of me stroking back and forth. And as I'm doing this, yeah, we're gonna need a little bit of water, just a touch. Not much water, just a little bit, thin out the paint. But if you add in water to this thick paint, the strokes aren't as strong. Don't make such strong strokes. Okay, but as I'm doing this, you see me doing this right now. Obviously, they're tiny way back here. But as you get more towards the front, all right, you get a little more heavy-handed. All right. As I'm looking at it, it needs to be a little darker. So now I can go back into the darker original mix. I'm gonna add just a small touch of water though. And I'm dealing with just the tips tips of, there we go, the tips of the brush. These are a little too dark. Let's go down here, down below. We'll add all that darkness here. Kind of a brown. All right, right here in the edge, right in here, I'm just gonna kind of get some. See this? It kind of makes you, think that it's got some deep foliage in the back there. Some of it's a little higher than others. Some of it's a little lower. But it's right there in the edge. And what makes this cool is that because of this brush and its kind of stipply nature, okay, it just looks natural. All right, and you can use that same stipple. You see, add some of those dark spots up into which will be the canopy. Add some of them dark patches in there. So you got some dark growth happening in there. All right, not necessarily everywhere, but like so. All right, okay. We're about an hour and a half in with this. Probably a little bit more. Now, obviously, during the editing, you're not going to see a whole lot of this. Okay, I like this dark in here. So we're going to use that. We're going to get a little bit of water. I'm going to use the same brush, but plenty of water. And we're going to get some of this, utilize this dark for the front, up here in the front a little bit. And we're just going to kind of really put it in there. What you're going to do when you do this, come in different directions. Some are taller, but make it consistent, especially here in the front. Get some more, keep it fairly dark. All right, don't joke with it, keep it dark. And I'm kind of do it in patches up above. I'm gonna use this liner brush here. And we're gonna start putting trees in here. All right, we kind of have one, kind of coming. It kind of comes out this way, like this. I'll just kind of put the branches out there. The trick with this is it needs water for it to flow, right? All right, but you got to be kind of careful because they have to be thick enough that you can kind of see them. And these trees are a little ways away. The trees in the savanna are a little different than what you're used to seeing anywhere else. They're thick canopy trees on the top. I'll pop another one here. I didn't have it come this way. All right. Not too much detail as far as the tree itself, because we'll put this guy right here and kind of make him a little crooked like that, and we'll kind of give him a little stray going this way. All right, we'll kind of spread him out here though. Okay, like that, and we'll kind of I should use a script liner now instead of this, but I've already got this started and going. Just like that. His branches kind of come up. They'll be up around here where this first cloud is. Up around in this area. I think I'm going to use my script liner. Even though it's a thinner brush, believe it or not, for being so thin, it holds a lot more water. And I'm used to using it a lot more. All right, this is going to be better and faster. Here we go. This is better. All right, and we're just going to pop them. See that? See how these branches kind of form now? I'm just accustomed to using this one a little bit more. But there we go. And we're going to kind of do some of this here. We're going to it branches out way over there. All right. Okay, and we're just going to keep playing just like that. Keep playing with it just like that. All right, I'm getting a little bit more water. Inky consistency, and you could never go wrong. We got a few little ones popping around here too. Let's kind of thicken these guys up a little bit more so they can be seen like that. Just because it's dark and they're going to be surrounded by black, so just want to kind of thicken it up. I think I got these pretty much okay. I don't have to do much more to this. All right, that's pretty much a done deal. The smaller fellas that are around here, they're kind of like, they're smaller. They're like around here a little bit. And you really just need to see, really, are the trunks down at the bottom. They kind of, branch out like that. I'll put one like right around in here or something like that, as long as they're in different locales. Okay. How high or how low you put them on the ground area, it depends on how far the tree is, to be honest with you. We'll put some smaller ones here like this, like that. And, I'll put a couple little ones in there, like so. All right. Once again, it's just, you're giving distance to a few of these fellas. That's basically it. Okay. Not really too much hanging around over here. We'll kind of put one like right here, something like that, and maybe a little piece of something over here. All right, and that should be enough, really. Nothing really to write home to mama about. All right, okay, we get some interesting tree shapes with it. I'll go back to this brush. We're going to use some of this green. I'll put the green in the other color together with it, and I'll use some of this deeper mix purple stuff, because they're pretty dark. I'll put some red in there. We'll deepen it. I'm taking a brush. I'm pulling it in one direction here. All right. Okay. We'll start right in here. They kind of bunch up on the bottom, but they kind of, like being a canopy tree, they kind of aim in a different direction. So I'll kind of show you. I don't want to get rid of here. They kind of aim and point like that in a different direction. They look something like that. Okay, we'll kind of give it a little something up here, but they kind of aim in that direction. All right, let's get some more. Once again, it's a little bit of blue, red, a little bit of ochre, also little interesting colors. We got some stuff going here too. But let's start with this guy. This guy's got some kind of popping this way like that. All right, but it's kind of out this way, and it kind of comes to a point, and then it kind of bunches up here, comes back up, and it kind of, once again, comes to a weird point that way. You got a few things here. You can kind of imagine a giraffe trying to eat a little something up off that guy. All right. Of course, I did the painting, and I didn't show it to you, but it's like that out there. All right. My bad. I'm sorry. I'll do another one. I'm just getting some more paint, pulling it towards me. Like I say, these other fellas are kind of dark. They're in there, but you can barely see them, but they're in there. Okay, and then you got some more of these fellas all up in here. You don't really see them. They're not really that highlighted. I can put some highlights in there because you really can't see them too well. So I get a little bit of ochre, just a touch, and then we'll throw in some here. We'll play around with a few little highlights in there like that, so you can kind of see what's going on there. Especially with these fellas here, we'll kind of play and aim them like that. Like that, all right. And we'll kind of put some down below like that. Let's get some more ochre. And a nice gentle, there we go, a little gentle touch. We'll pop some up in this area there. Have some come down here. And we'll kind of brighten that up a little bit. Like that. All right. And we'll come down over here on this side. And we'll kind of pop in a few things. And we'll have it kind of come down around in here. Bring something here. And we'll kind of throw in a little something, a little batch in there. That come down below. All up in here. This one here has got quite a bit of, you know, he's got some shade happening over here with this fella. And we got some coming over this way, come up that way. You got some over here. Okay, it's got some happening, popping off this way. He's a bigger tree. He's got all sorts of things going on there. Bring it out way out here a little bit. See that? Let's get a nice little grouping of dark right toward the center, though. Okay, he's a big one. He ain't playing around. He's got some space to him there. All right, this one here got a little bit of love too. So we'll kind of have it come across all up in there, it's a little like that. So you know they got a little something happening. All right, and we'll kind of bring some of that love up around in here, darken some of this down on the bottom. Especially down below here. It's dark, but not super dark. You know, kind of pop some this way. Not too much. Okay. Kind of get some long stuff happening there like this. All right. Okay. All right. Now, I'll pan back a little bit. We're going to do, the rest of that's pretty much finished. What we're going to do is really work on the, I'll probably end up changing lenses, but we're going to work on the figures, which won't really be, because they're all going to be in black. All right, and then that'll frame in the whole project. So stay tuned, I'll be right. Okay, well, here comes the fun part, sweetheart. What I'm going to do is paint the figures in black, and then that'll be pretty much the end of the painting. All right. Okay. I got some thick black paint here and a liner brush. And so what I'm going to do right now is just go over the finer details before I use a thicker brush. All right. And this is just because I really don't want to go over this 5 times. So this is a part of the painting where it just benefits you to do it right the first time. And when you do painting like this, all right, it comes from either a tracing or you're doing it freehand and you tape it, it tends to grow on you, meaning that if you might tend to go outside the lines a little bit. All right, and that's bound to happen. It's going to happen. Okay, so take a smaller brush, go over the finer, thinner details so you don't have to worry about it as much. As far as using what type of black paint, if you put too much water in it, it's going to turn gray, and you end up going over it again. So really choose your thickness. Use a brush that you're comfortable with. Okay. Try, especially if you're painting the human figure or anything that's resembling a human, even if it's not too anatomically correct, it has to be correct enough to know that it is a human figure, male or female. All right. So now I'm getting towards the part where it gets a little thicker. I can use a larger brush. You got to know when to kind of stop and move on. It's usually the details in the face right around in here that I'm concerned about the most. So I will obviously be the most careful around the nose and the lip area. It's usually around in this area, I'm a little more cautious. Now, when you're painting on canvas, you know, you got all these little pits from the canvas itself, so you might end up going over it a few different times. All depends, really. The hair I'm not really worried about. It's mainly the arms and the fingers, okay? And so I dip a little bit of water in the thick paint, and I do them. Now, where I place my hand here, it's pretty much dry because there's no glycerin. I got the painting kind of spread out, or the camera view spread out a little bit because you don't really need to see this too close up. Me doing it, but you do got to exercise a little care doing it, and I hope my head isn't blocking, because usually if too much of my body blocks with this particular camera, it will kind of blur out on you a little bit. So if it do, I'm sorry. Once again, I can probably handle a lot of this with a thicker brush. All right. And I'm going into more naturally dark paint because I'm going around the areas of the face here. And I'm a lefty, so I'm going in the opposite direction. So I got to be really careful when it comes to the lips area and the nose. All right. So I gotta once again be very careful. I don't want to put my hands in the wet paint. The glycerin is still very wet. Like I said, I'm doing this a couple of days before my actual birthday. So I'm giving me quite a bit of a buffer. So when I use a larger brush, I don't inadvertently paint over the neck and nose. So I'm using another pure thick paint here because I really don't want to go over it again twice. And usually around where I have to, around the body, the collarbone, shoulder area, fill it in there. And just be careful, be really careful. I don't have to do where the hair is. Usually, like I say, around the shoulder, collarbone area, I'll be a little more careful. I'll take a little more time, be extra careful. Just to guide it. Like I say, I can use a thicker brush and go here on the arm area, but since I already got the brush and all of that, I might as well do it while I can. Something like that. Okay, now I'll do the other areas with I can use a flat brush, I can use a filbert brush, really doesn't matter at this point. I am going to take a little bit of water and wet the brush up a little bit. This paint is really super thick. Okay, I can thin it down just a little bit, just a little bit. All right. All right, I made another error because the brush is too big, but that's okay. I'll correct it right now. And usually, you'll know when to stop. Okay, when you make a little too many errors, especially when you're this close to being finished. Well, there you go, pretty much. All right, it's finished. A little birthday painting of some sort. Now, since I don't have any white paint, I'll just use an acrylic pen and try to find a spot to put my initials that might be somewhat almost dry here. As long as I can see my reflection, it's not really dry. So, can I put it on this? No, I can't put it here. It's gonna mess up. I'm gonna do it anyway. Man, that's it right there. Good enough. All right. See you whenever I see you. All right. Bye. Bye-bye.